down lightly, watered down so heavily? Why? Ask why.
Jordan Falls! This is a nightmare! You want to be sure of your game.
Did the same trick mean? Help! 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 Wolf! There is a wolf! Please help me!
Back again for another video. Let me clear my throat a little bit. On today's topic, I will be discussing something that I've encountered before in my own life, something that I've done before and dealt with before in my own life, of course, because mainly what I understand are things that I have knowledge of due to experience for the most part. But today's topic will be about why black men choose white women. I know. Believe me, I know. I know that I have listeners out there that are, how can I put it, very sensitive and opinionated about this topic. But I want to look at it in a different way. I was listening to one of Pimp Guy's audiobooks today, and he was talking about how black women, and this is a buildup of thoughts, mind you, because what happens is, when it comes to these thoughts, is one man will say something from his inner being, inner essence, inner creativity, and another man will hear it and he'll say, I have something to add to that. Not repeating necessarily what was the original thought, but once again, I have something to add to that. And in this addition, new aspects, new encroaches of spaces are accomplished through this, and it broadens and covers more of the big picture in which the idea overcast, right? And then another man will hear that, and then he'll listen to all the information, and he will build upon that. You have to look at it like a skyscraper, right? No one man builds the skyscraper, right? He is with a team of people that he doesn't necessarily share an interpersonal relationship with, but he shares a knowledge of what they collectively came to do. While one may be an electrician, one may be a plumber, one may be a mason, etc., they collectively create this tower of levels, this skyscraper, right? So while there is a man who lays the first brick, he cannot take full credit for the creation, the overall creation of a skyscraper. Even though he laid the first brick, he may have laid even the foundation. But there are crane operators, there are riggers, there are scaffolders, there are people who deal with glass. He may know how to lay the foundation, but that is his specialty, is laying foundations. His specialty isn't building the floors per se, right? So this is how I think of the thoughts when it comes to men collectively coming together with ideas and the building of a structure of thought process and explanation of outcomes and decisions and situations, whatever. So this is how I look at it. But anyway, sorry for the long, esoteric speech, whatever you want to call it. But I was listening to Pimp God, and he was talking about the aspect that black women are looking for black men to give them something that they don't have the ability to give. And in his audiobook, he expresses the notion, the idea, the sentiments, whatever you want to call them, that the rhetoric, that the one thing that black women want that black men can't give them is the status, the respect, the just being and having things of white privilege. She wants to be Miss Ann, as he denotes in his video in regards to what BGS named the white woman that black women model themselves after, or aspire to be, rather, however you want to look at it. Once again, this is a building of a skyscraper, right? I have something to add. And my addition to this building, the structure, is that I understand, for the most part, it may not be entirety, but you have to understand that when we do things as human, this is a response to our inner urges, our inner self. This isn't, a lot of people think that their ideas or their decisions are their own, but you know, we are humans, and we start to think that because we have a understanding of through self-awareness, according to what our environment is, that we are no longer animals, and we don't react based upon the inner being and essence of survival. We do. I had a conversation with a chick not too long ago about why it's necessary for men to be to have a component of polygyny to them. Every man has it. Everyone has it. It's a biological drive that you can't control, right? It's something that pushes you. It doesn't control you necessarily, but it's a monkey on your back. You know what I'm saying? I think most men understand what I'm talking about. But due to the fact that this is a introspective outward discussion of introspection, people who haven't experienced can only understand it second or third person, right? They can't understand it from a first person point of view, because they are not that individual who experiences such things, right? And I told her how I one for one it when it comes to how women see things, how women experience things in the same biological way is a woman's urge to have children. No matter how many times we've seen women have children in the most, conceived to have children in the most unimaginable ways, ways that are very contradictory to their own survival. Women choose to have children anyway. This individual that I spoke of, she had complications with having children. She understood this. It wasn't like something that, she just later found out while having a child. No, she knew this before having children. She knew that it would be a complicated process that could potentially cost her life. So at the understanding that women have in regards to their own experiences with biology, why would they think that men or women are the only ones who have biological drives to do things that push the species forward and perpetuates its existence, pretty much the homeostasis of a species? Why wouldn't they think that men aided in that, or men had a different but similar biological drive? Why wouldn't they think that? But once again, The woman, she only looks inward at a shallow level, and she looks outward very deeply, right? The 80-20, right? The yin and yang, we talk about these things very much over here. But anyways, not to diverge off of the topic so far, but it seems that when black men try to explain why they do the things they do, why they choose the things that they choose, why they select the things that they select, when the person who is not pleased by this hears this, it's automatically dismissible because it does not align with their own way they view their existence, right? Which is a detriment to themselves, because the further away you are from the truth, the further you are away from happiness. That is the truth, right? True happiness, true inner happiness. Because truth, the more you are, the closer you are to the truth, the more acceptance you need in order to obtain that. The further truth and the truth that you currently have. You just have to accept things for what they are, and it gives you peace of mind of happiness. But this is something that is a first person perspective again, and only those who have reached that level understand what I'm talking about. But anyways, when it comes to a man's choice, women don't hear them because it does not validate their existence. Right? Because we all understand that a woman's existence is very much validated by a man's light. We know this. We talk about this stuff all the time. Women will nod their head and say, yes, I can agree with that. But once again, they let themselves get in the way of seeing themselves. Right? Very strange. For a lot of times, even men do this. They let themselves get in the way of seeing themselves. Even I've been guilty of this, but this is something I've since conquered. Nonetheless, when it comes to this idea, and when it comes to the spectrum of the idea, the one that there is a such thing as Miss Ann, and the other that black women want black men to give them a status in which they cannot. There's another component to this that I once again like to add. And this component is that black men are seeking the least path of resistance. Now, don't take that the wrong way. And I'm going to explain why very simply. Let's look at a driving route. If you were going from point A to point B, and Google, let's see, brought up Google Maps. Google Maps recommends oftentimes many different paths, right? And in these paths, it gives you different times. The different times are representative of the potential obstacles and the distance it takes to get to one point to another, right? Let's say that there were no obstacles and it was just distance, right? Google's going to give you multiple options, right? There's one that says 24 minutes, and there's another that says 10 minutes. What does this represent if the only obstacle is the distance? It represents paths of resistance, because time is a distance, and it takes you time to get from one place to another. The actual space is resisting your ability to instantaneously get to one point to another. So the space is the resistance, right? And when you travel on this road, you have to pick one. If someone needs to get somewhere on time and they only have 17 minutes to get there, which path are they going to take? The one that's 20 something or the one that's below the time it takes to get there? Of course, they're going to take the 15-minute route, right? Or whatever, I said 15 minutes, I don't know. They're going to take the shortest route. This is simply what we call the path of least resistance. Does that mean that it's good or bad? Is it bad? Is it morally bad for you to take a 24-minute route over a 15-minute route? Is it morally bad? Of course not. Is it intelligent? Not if you want to accomplish the goal in a timely fashion. It is ignorance at its best, right? Meaning that there are things that you know, but you still keep going the longest route to get to the same destination, right? So one who values their time and wants to make the appointment on time will take the shortest distance, because this, once again, is the path of least resistance. Now, it seems to be, let's say that one of these paths was a white woman and one of these paths was a black woman, right? And excuse me, we had something with the equivalent of Google Maps. We call it red pill ideology, right? And with this map, you can plot what is the potentially shortest route. Now, let me stop you, because I know you're thinking, if you are in opposition to black men being with white women, just to say that any of my listeners are these type of people. Remember, I'm an objective person. This is nothing that comes from me feeling a certain type of way. This is just how I see things. Once again, I've not dated personally or dealt with personally in my current lifetime a white woman. So I don't have any skin in the game. I'm just here to explain to you what I see, right? This isn't a personal proposition, you know. This isn't motivated by personal decisions, right? This isn't me trying to rally for something that I have skin in the game for. I don't. So I'm just here to explain this to you. But let's once again say that objectively there is a white and a black woman. And we're not going to use distance as a measure here. We're going to use subjective resistance. Subjective resistance, meaning that this is something that an individual who is taking this route, meaning the black woman or the white woman, uses the red pill ideology to break down and define what the likelihood of taking such a woman and getting to the intended destination, right? And in this, we understand many things, because the red pill ideology says that, it says simply that all women are liabilities, but all distance is actually space. It just is. That's just the way it is. It's not objectively bad. It's not objectively good, right? It just is. That's just the way it is. I didn't create the universe. I didn't make the rules. I'm just telling you what things are. So don't get mad at me. And of course, you know, I threw it through a lens of my own. So there is imperfection to some of the things that I say. I never claimed to be a perfect orator, you know. I never claimed that. I just tell you the best of my knowledge to the things I understand. That's it. But anyways, when it comes to choosing a woman, we use the red pill book of knowledge, the red pill roadmap, if you will. And we say, okay, what will be the best route to take in order to get to my destination? And we find that in this, there is that thing that we cannot accomplish as black men with black women, right? Remember I was talking about earlier that black women want you to take them to a destination that we cannot. So essentially, that objectively creates a dead end, because there will always be complete resistance, or excuse me, not complete, but there'll always be some level of resistance to you, to the point that you will have an uphill battle trying to get to your own destination while meeting the criteria of traveling through this space. The woman, using her as a vehicle to aid in your destination. She comes with objective resistance, both white and black, right? It doesn't matter what kind of woman you pick. There's going to be some level of resistance. That's just the way it is. They're designed this way. This isn't a good thing. This isn't a bad thing. It just is. And in this, there's one opposition of either the woman that the other does not have. So I want to set aside the idea that black women have an objective that black men cannot reach. Let's look at white women. One thing that I can say, they are a headache. Don't get me wrong. They are a headache. All women are to some degree. That's just the way it is. You know, what can you do? They're going to disagree with you. They're going to argue with you. They're going to tell you no. You know, they're going to do things that are not pleasant to you. As a black man, that's just the way it is. They're women, okay? They're not robots. They're not perfect beings. They come with flaws that sometimes contradict what your goal is. That's just the way it is. They come with the resistance, right? And when we are dissecting the checklist of the Red Pill book, one of those things is, does she require to have white privilege? This is something that we apply. This is something that is applied. This is something that is considered, you know, because we look at all women and we run through this checklist in our head of the things that we understand about women, and we decide if there will be resistance based upon those criteria, because we want the path of least resistance. Who doesn't? Who wants to take 24 minutes to get to the same place they could in 15? This isn't a good or bad thing. It just is. So when we objectively look at the women with the book of Red Pill and we check them off and we come across, does this individual aspire to be in the same, how can I put it? The same light of white privilege? Do they aspire to be Miss Ann? And we look at the black women, we say yes. But there's nothing we can do about that. And this is not all black women. Don't get me wrong. But it is the majority. So this is the way I'm speaking. For the majority. I don't have any critiques for a woman who does not aspire to be Miss Ann. What can I say about her? No, yes you do. No, I can't. If that's not true, it's not true. That's just the way it is. But objectively, this is true for a lot of black women. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I don't talk bad about people. It's not my thing. I just tell you the truth, and it kind of sucks that I have to. It's not pleasant for me either. It's not. None of this is pleasant for me. Telling people the truth is sometimes enjoyable, but sometimes it's not, because I understand how it makes the individual feel. But if you got a booger in your nose, I got to tell you about it. You may be embarrassed, you may feel defeated, whatever the case may be, but I'm your friend. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to tell you the truth, whether you believe it or not, that you got tissue hanging from your shoe, right? All the other people, they'll laugh and smile in your face. They'll say, oh yeah, everything's all good. And they will be snickering behind your back, talking about that stain on your dress, instead of telling you, hey, you might want to go to the bathroom and check that out, right? I'm the friend that's going to tell you about it. because I don't want to see you embarrassed. I don't want to see you I don't want to see you defeated. But I must tell you the truth. And this is simply what I'm doing here. Majority of black women want to be Miss Ann subconsciously. Sometimes it's not a conscious thing. You know, not everybody wears blonde wigs, right? You know, sometimes it is not a conscious thing. But you as a being, you are responsible for your subconscious, just as you are for your conscious actions. No different. Same thing. You're responsible for your subconscious actions. You know, they don't charge people with DUI for no reason. Even when they slam into someone or something and they weren't conscious of it, they still going to charge you. You know, you're responsible for your existence and the things that you do with it, consciously or unconsciously, subconsciously, right? But anyways, when we go down the checklist and we go down the box and we visit and we run across the option, the checklist of, does this woman aspire to be Miss Ann? We can't say that about white women. I understand. They don't aspire to be what they are. They just are that. So there is an obstacle that is less on one side. Black men don't have to give white women the option to be Miss Ann. So it creates a path of least resistance. Sorry it took you so long. It took me so long to say this to you. But I had to explain myself. I had to bring you down off of your emotional high horse. Bring you down to the reality. Bring you down to common understanding. Black men go to the least resistance once they find it. It doesn't matter what color, what shape, what anything that it comes in. Keep in mind that I say the path of least resistance. I didn't say the path of no resistance. This is the reason why a lot of black women are losing. It's because they are creating themselves. They are perpetuating themselves to be the path of most resistance. Maybe I'll do a video about how a woman can be the path of least resistance, irregardless of other paths that a man can take. I think this is more important than most anything that women can understand in their existence with contrast to men. I oftentimes wish there was another way that I can tell you this. I wish that there was another way that I can talk to you. I wish that you could hear me without being upset. I wish that you can listen to me without saying that I'm, my sexuality is questionable. I wish that you can hear me in my existence because I hear you in yours. This is without me being upset. I'm not upset that black women are aspiring to be white women subconsciously, to aspiring to be like Miss Ann, to aspiring to have the same privileges as white privilege. I'm not upset by that. What I am, though, is that I am disappointed. I'm disappointed because you are much more than what you aspire to be subconsciously. I know this. You should too. But you keep using this as a bar to gauge your level of importance, your level of existence. You think that there is nothing past that. You can't imagine in your mind that there is nothing past white privilege in this country. There is. I wish you understood it. We've been saying it to you for a long time, for a very long time, that there is something past your existence that you measure up to white supremacy, white privilege, that is submitting to your men. But anyways, like, comment, and share. Check me out on Facebook. Check me out on the good Patreon. Actually, this video is probably going to go up on Patreon very quickly, because I don't think that this is a conversation that a lot of women will take at heart. You know, not take it hard, but take seriously. You know, they'll just toss me into the garbage bin with everyone else who detracts from their illusion. Right? But anyways, until next time, this has been the Wolf in Beta Clothes. May you have a good day, and peace be with you.